What is going on, Big Blue Nation? Was that a good way to start the season or what? Cats moved to 1-0 on the year, beating Morehead State tonight. Man, early takeaways wasn't there, was there a lot of talent on the floor? I mean, wow. It was athleticism all over the place. Isaiah Jackson. I was talking about it last night on Twitter at the UK Superfan about Cameron Fletcher. And true to my tweet last night about him. There he was, multiple times down on the floor. And there was a lot of people didn't think he would crack the rotation. There was a lot of prognosticators, scouts around the country that didn't think maybe he was a good fit here at Kentucky, and I've ever since I laid eyes on the kid and started looking at tape on him, and I just thought, there's a player that's going to win us over, because that's the kind of UK loves those blue collar players that will just make the hustle plays. It goes all the way back to guys, even guys that weren't as super talented. I'm going to take you way back in the Wayback Machine, Jeff Brasso. Jeff Brasso, when he was in the game, usually, by the time it was over with, he had red marks all over him because he just hustled. Wasn't the most athletic guy, most talented guy on the floor, but he just played with so much heart and intensity, and I saw that tonight. But we saw the pure athletic ability of Brandon Boston tonight, Isaiah Jackson. I mean, Terrence Clark. We saw really all the Kentucky players played well. Devin Askew shot the ball well. He hit 2 3-pointers, hit 2 out of 3. Kentucky shot the ball well. A couple of the things that stood out to me while I was watching was Kentucky had an assist, I think, on over half. I think maybe they had 33 made baskets and 18 assists. You constantly saw them making the extra pass. It was really, the way Cal had talked him up. They had such a terrible practice the other day. I don't know if he was sandbagging us or what, because he talked the team up all summer long, about how athletic they were, but he didn't think they were coming together. But tonight, they ran their stuff. I thought they looked a little shaky the first couple of minutes, but at no point was we ever concerned. At no point did they ever have a long stretch where they couldn't score. At no point did they have a multiple sequences of defensive breakdowns. We saw people hitting both offensive and defensive rebounds. Really, honestly, it was a near perfect opening night performance by Kentucky. As we'll get into the minutes and the numbers and how they broke down. I thought maybe Davion Mintz would have to come in and settle the team down. I was wrong there. Devin Askew just ran the show tonight and, showed that he was more than capable. He did have a few turnovers. He did have a few turnovers, but he had 4 assists. I thought he played a really good game. Not obviously when you're knocking down shots, it makes everything a lot easier. And all of the Kentucky players were shooting the ball well. Askew played 27 minutes, hit 5 out of 9 shots. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, those 4 turnovers. But he looked good. He looked good out there. B.J. Boston, he played 32 minutes, hit 7 out of 14 shots. He was 0 for 4 from 3, but not too concerned there. 7 rebounds, really showed his athleticism on a few of those where he just literally out jumped everybody on the floor to get the ball. Isaiah Jackson only played 17 minutes, but hit 4 out of 5 shots. I think his minutes not being as high was a combination of the fact that, they rotated. They had a good rotation of their bigs there. Let's see here. How did the minutes shake out here? So Jackson played 17 minutes. Olivier Sarr, he had 22 minutes. And something's not adding up here. I'm missing somebody. let's see here. Yeah, Cameron Fletcher, he had 17 minutes, and then Lance Ware played 19. So really, it was an ideal scenario for Kentucky. When Ware was in there, like he didn't try to really impose himself on. He didn't take any shots, but he got 5 rebounds and 2 blocks and a steal, and was just like all over the place. Now he did have 3 fouls in those limited minutes, but he was playing very aggressive the whole time he was in the game. Uh, so I was very impressed with him. Dante Allen did get in the game, knocked down that 1 3. Not really sure. He played 6 minutes. Not really sure what like I said, how that's going to work out with Dante. We know the guy can fill it up though. So that's that's something that I think as we continue to move forward in the season, it'll be interesting to see what kind of role he carves out. But Davion, he only had to play 17 minutes. He showed that pure stroke, though. 2 out of 3 shots. Was texting with a buddy during the game. I mean, his shot just looks so pure. Every time he releases it, it looks like it's going in. I mean, Kentucky really didn't have to do a lot tonight. We saw, Jacob Toppin get in the game. He provided some energy, got some rebounds. But again, we don't know how many minutes he's going to play this year. But to me, another one of the standouts is Terrence Clark, though. Exactly what we talked about all week, and really all the last week or so is how are you going to keep the guy out of the lane? I think he drew like 4 fouls literally in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game. He's just so explosive, so dynamic. I mean, even by Kentucky standards, Terrence Clark and Brandon Boston are just silly, phenomenally talented freak athletes, and you throw Isaiah Jackson in there. I mean, they're all three just in their own right. Uh, I mean, how are they not all three going to be lottery picks next year? I mean, really. Really. I mean, it's Kentucky's in a really good position. I mean, they didn't have to lean on Olivier Sarr tonight. Didn't have to lean too much on Davion Mintz, but we kind of saw it. I mean, the 5 guys you saw on the floor tonight, you know, Askew, Jackson, and Clark, they'll be the guards, and Sarr and Isaiah Jackson will be the forwards. And then, occasionally, like I said, Toppin will come in and provide some energy minutes. Davion Mintz will probably play the most minutes of anybody off the bench. He'll be that steady guard. If somebody gets in foul trouble, he can play extended minutes. And then, from there on out, Cameron Fletcher and Lance Ware will get in the game. We'll see Lance Ware do exactly what he did tonight. He'll just use that big athletic frame of his and get in there and just try to get rebounds and block shots. And then Cameron Fletcher, man, wow. I mean, hit 4 out of 5 shots. The only 3 he took, he hit. He got his feet set, got a wide open look in the corner, knocked it down. So 17 minutes, I mean, really nice showing there. 4 out of 5 field goals and 5 boards, 4 defensive. I thought a couple of interesting things is Morehead, they just couldn't put the ball in the hole, and the length did bother them. And I'll get into that because this team, they were ahead of the curve more than what I anticipated, and really what I was led to believe because, I could hear them out there. I mean, they were communicating. They were calling out screens, pick and rolls, calling out help. Players were, when somebody was, getting beat down the court, somebody was hollering out. I thought the communication was really, really good, and that's what really helps you when you have all that length like Kentucky does and all that wingspan. It just gives you such an advantage, especially if you can make that athleticism work for you. And Kentucky did that tonight. I mean, it was tough sledding from Morehead State all night long. I mean, they just they had a hard time, just getting buckets. I mean, it was just that's really what it boiled down to. They just had a hard time getting buckets. They shot 17 out of 50, 34%. That's a Cal blueprint right there, check mark it. You can call that a win. Anytime you can hold a team to 34%, and keep them, UK won the backboards 37-25. I did think it was interesting though. We had 11 offensive rebounds, but we gave up 11. Now that might be something Cal probably can. If there's one thing he might be able to find a negative in, but 26-14 edge on the defensive backboard. I mean, it's just it was all Kentucky, pretty much from the tip, and it's just a great way to start the season. Now, as we really look through all the numbers in this game, one of the couple of things, I guess, one of the reasons why I was so upset that we didn't get to finish last year's, I kept talking about how I thought we had like the blueprint to make a run, and of course we played so well down the stretch, but we shot, and they talked about it on the television tonight. Jimmy Dykes talked about, we shot 80% from the line last year. It's probably one of the best free throw shooting teams, that we've ever had here, certainly in recent memory. And those are the kind of teams that can, win a championship. And, this team here, tonight we hit 9 out of 14. So, I mean, we were respectable, 64.3. But as you get into those closer games, and really, I really think Sunday has an interesting chance. As I've been doing some research, quite a bit of research, and talking to some of my friends up around the A10 that cover some of those teams, and I've gotten quite a bit of feedback on this Richmond team, and they are returning some, they're returning a lot. They're all 5 starters. One of them is hurt, but they're all seniors. And it's not just like these are just all basic bland players. I mean, they've got a couple kids on this team that's probably going to play in the NBA. So I think Sunday will be a really good test for Kentucky. That team will probably be able to hang with Kentucky more. And I was real interested to, like, Morehead never tried to play zone tonight. I really, I mean, we shot the ball well from 3-point range, but, Morehead, they never really tried to adjust. I mean, they really never tried to throw anything at us to change. There was several times during the game, where, they'd hit a shot and cut it to like 14 or 15. This is sort of towards the end of the first half, but you never saw them make any adjustments to really try to throw Kentucky off any. I don't think anything would really work tonight as well as we played and the way we distributed the ball, attacked the rim, and hit open shots. I mean, if a team like Kentucky that can take their length and make it hard for you to score can shoot the ball anywhere close to what they did tonight, I mean, it's just going to be hard to beat. It really is. It's going to be hard to beat any night. But what'll be interesting is on a night where those jump shots aren't falling, how does this team react? And I think they've got the pieces to do it. I mean, we saw Terrence Clark pretty much get in the lane at will tonight. So it's just going to be this team's just going to have to learn how to play. As far as me talking about what they can do, I mean, they look great tonight, obviously, but I'm talking about what they can do to figure out how to get all the way, like Final Four, trying to win a national championship. We're going to see here probably in the next week, either the Richmond game or the Kansas game, we're going to see them play teams that can impose their will on them a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see how these young guys who, as great as they look tonight, will be able to handle the adversity. And if we can find ways to make plays and learn how to play winning basketball, I mean, the sky's the limit, because you saw the athleticism. I mean, it's everywhere. The athleticism is it's jumping off the page with all these young cats. So I don't see any reason at all why we can't beat Richmond on Sunday and give Kansas a loss as well. I have not got a chance to really dig deep into Kansas yet, so we're going to get too far in myself. But as far as on the channel here, we are hopefully by no later than Friday morning, we'll have that Richmond Spiders preview video up. And like I said, I think you'll find it quite interesting, as Richmond definitely has some pieces that can give Kentucky some issues. I honestly thought Morehead would make it a more competitive game tonight, just because I'm so used to Kentucky struggling to shoot the ball early in the season. But that was definitely not the case tonight. Kentucky finishes 6 out of 16, 37.5% on threes, but it was ultimately their overall field goal percentage, 33 out of 59. That and a lot of not a lot of good looks. Even some of the jump shots that they took, especially there in the second half, a lot of them were in the middle of when Morehead did try to flip to a zone a little bit. It was a little too late at that point. I think the game was already like at 20-some points. So Morehead did play zone, because I do remember, Clark and BJ were both kind of flashing in the middle there, and it seemed like all the Kentucky players were flashing in there and just getting good looks from that 10, 12-foot range, and they were just knocking them down. And there was a couple of times where the zone got a little too high, and Kentucky, as soon as I started thinking, hey, they need to flatten out on the baseline there, boom, there it would be, pass corner, flatten out on the baseline, layup coming on the short corner. So it was very well executed. Guys played with a lot higher basketball IQ than I was led to believe that they would have this early in the year. But like I said, when you're knocking down shots, everything looks a lot better, and it's a whole lot easier to stay in your comfort zone. So hopefully Sunday we can continue, and hopefully that'll just be a hallmark of this team, is the fact that they can just shoot the basketball and score. Score at will, and get good quality looks. I think it was more than just it wasn't just that they shot the ball well. It's, for the most part, they got really good looks, and they were unselfish, made the extra pass. So it was just all around just an incredibly encouraging performance, and just a great start couldn't ask for a better start for our Cats as we move to 1-0 on the season. Just a quick tidbits here. We'll look over at Morehead. Let's see. They looks like the big tall freshman Broom. He had 11 points, and Dixon also had 11, and Baker had 10. So they did have three guys hit double figures, but just couldn't consistently get the ball in the basket. And even though Kentucky didn't block a ton of shots, let's see how many. Let's see what we did do there. Well, I've got everything here in front of me, if I can find it. 2, 4, 6. So Ware had 2 blocks, Sarr had 2 blocks, and Isaiah Jackson had 2 blocks. So we had 6 blocks, but we altered a lot more shots around the rim. It seemed like they were constantly being harassed when they got near the goal, and like I said, Kentucky just made it very difficult to get any kind of consistency on offense going. So, the Kentucky showed a little bit of a press early on. So, that was kind of something I think that down the road could be an asset. If you go against some teams with some weaker guards that execute really good in the half court, it's just another weapon Cal has. Because the guards looked fairly disciplined when they were playing it, so I think it'll be something Kentucky will continue to work on as we proceed forward. But yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it here. I'm not going to stay on here forever tonight. Down the road, as we get a larger base going and get more interactive, we'll definitely keep this thing going. Maybe even try to stretch it out closer to an hour. But in the early stages, we're kind of just growing the channel and just getting it going. And I'm just kind of enjoying the just getting used to being in this position behind the microphone and trying to get my thoughts together and not stumble all over myself, I guess, more than anything. But I enjoy talking about Kentucky basketball, and especially on a night where we play so well. The blood pressure never had to get up very high tonight, and it was just one of those nice, calm, relaxing evenings. Actually had my mom up tonight. We had some Thanksgiving dinner with her, and just had a really good family day. Watched some Christmas movies. Probably gonna watch another after this, and just me and my wife and my mom and our little dog. So it's kind of been a good chill day and an easy Kentucky win tonight. Exactly what we want. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Big Blue Nation is the wait for basketball finally ended, and I think it's just not just even being a UK fan. I'll kind of wrap it up with this. It was just good to, I'm a fan of basketball, and last winter I was had some health issues and was had to stay home a lot more, and I watched just an unbelievable amount of basketball. I mean, you name it. I mean, I was watching it from all conferences, big and small, and just kind of really, in some ways, just became an even bigger fan of just basketball in general. Not even just Kentucky basketball, just watching the sport. Something I always was passionate about, and having that end without a tournament last year, it kind of shell shocked everybody. And then here we got you know into October, and we're used to Big Blue Madness and getting it cranked back up, and then all that sort of took a little bit longer and got delayed a little bit. So around here in Kentucky, basketball is important to us, and it's one of those things that just it brings us a lot of joy and happiness in the winter. Around here in Kentucky, it gets dark early, and so it's just it starts getting cold and dreary, and we kind of settle in and watch our cats, and I'm just thankful that we had that tonight. Feel blessed to that just to be able to kick back and enjoy a basketball game for a change, and hopefully everything will stay good, and we'll have a game on Sunday. But I'll wrap this thing up. I appreciate you guys checking out. It's feedback over this last week and a half has been awesome. I'm on Twitter at the UK Superfan. I'm still getting used to all this, so you kind of bear with me a little bit. But if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button on this video. Get signed up, get an account on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel. And ultimately, that's the more likes and subscribers we get, then that's the more times YouTube sends it out to other people to check out, and more other UK fans to check out, and we're kind of able to grow the channel. So, but I do appreciate it. If you guys have any comments or whatever, feel free to comment on the bottom of the videos. I try to keep up with those and interact back with you. If you have any thoughts or questions or anything about the upcoming games, just feel free to hit me up on Twitter or send a message in a comment on the videos. But you guys have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everybody has a blessed day tomorrow. If they're able to spend time with any of their family, and look for us to get that video up either tomorrow night or by Friday morning, kind of at the latest, and we'll preview that Richmond Spiders game, which is probably going to be a Jim Dandy game early on in the year. And I guess that'll wrap us up. Like I said, my name's Will Turpin. This is the UK Superfan channel. Win number one